On that note, let's talk weather once again with the meteorologist Cody Proctor. Cody, it is tomorrow early afternoon that wind starts to move in. Is that what you're seeing?
That's what I'm seeing, particularly when it comes to our weather models. And that's when we start to see more of our peak wind speeds from what I'm seeing. So we start to really get more of those winds moving in our late morning, but get more of that peak around that 2 to 4 o'clock hour from what I'm seeing from some particular models. So watch that pretty closely, just because that's when we also see some of our hottest temperatures of the day and some of our driest conditions as well. There's a lot to keep track of when it comes to this weather impact alert, and this is for all day tomorrow from what we're seeing, because those dry conditions, those gusty winds, and just a reminder, because of those conditions, if a fire does start, there's the real potential for it to just grow so rapidly. So that's why we're keeping track of that critical to extreme fire danger. And you can see just how widespread those red flag warnings. And this is an interesting red flag warning. This is one for a particularly dangerous situation. So watching that pretty closely, because you can see just how widespread this is pretty much throughout our entire region, from North Idaho into Eastern Washington, Central Washington right here. This kicks off at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. Will stay in effect until tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Looking at those southwest winds, about 20 to 30 miles per hour. Gusts could potentially get up to about 15 miles per hour. That low relative humidity could see some places down to the teens. Others are really about the 20% mark. So watching that pretty closely. The culprit for all this has been this area of low pressure right here. We're keeping track of a dry cold front as that continues to knock on the door of the Pacific Northwest. That's looking to bring us those conditions as we head into tomorrow. You can see over around Vancouver Island, it's dropping off some rain over there, but we're not expecting that moisture to move over the Cascades onto our side of the mountains. And that's why we're seeing those dry conditions. It's not the best recipe when we have everything combined as we head into our Saturday. The current conditions right now, 91 degrees over the Spokane Airport. At least those winds are calm. I'll take it for now. That relative humidity, though, looking at 14% at this time. Looks like this camera, though, is getting a little windy at this very moment. Temperatures around our region mostly into the 90s for us, currently at 90 degrees in Sandpoint. Winds for the most part relatively calm to light for now for us. We're feeling the heat today. We're still going to feel the heat tomorrow, but a little cooler, down in the mid 80s are expected. But again, got those gusty conditions expected, bringing that critical fire weather. So as far as the timing of all this, when it comes to those forecasted winds, we start to see that pick up in our afternoon hours. This is when we could see potentially around our peak time for those winds. We'll watch that pretty closely, mostly coming out, it looks like on right here, out of the west, southwest right here. So watching that pretty closely. We'll get a bit of a break overnight, but even into Sunday, there's that chance for some gusty conditions for some of us. So watch that pretty closely. As for our relative humidity, still seeing those conditions right now. We'll see those conditions continue to dry out as we head into tomorrow. It's the same timing out with those winds, and even into Sunday, it's still going to be dry from what we're seeing right now. So there is still that elevated fire danger even into Sunday. We're just not seeing that chance for those breezy to gusty winds. You can see from our fire weather danger, we'll start to see that pick up in our late morning hours, and widening out across more of our area into our afternoon hours before that scales back as we cool off in our overnight hours. Rolling the future tracker forward, just because there's a lot of sunshine in this and really no changes right here in our forecast. Taking a look at our highs around the region tomorrow, mostly into those 80s. Some places could still get up into the low 90s. That does include Omak and Colville. Ritzville, you might be about 87 degrees. Sandpoint, you could also be about 87. We might be about 86. Again, still tracking those windy conditions for tomorrow and some hazy skies. Sunday should cool us off down into potentially the upper 70s before we warm back up next week.